Welcome, viewers.
Yes, welcome, viewers. Welcome. This is Wadidja. As what did you do? What did you think? What did you enjoy? And we are here for a special Hayden Tenno commentary special here. I'll tell you, it's really interesting. Today's dev short that came up, the topic came up, and Steve Sinclair, the one and only. Oh, I don't remember this music here. That's interesting. But yeah, Steve read a comment from one of the viewers on the dev short talking about Hayden Tenno. And, they were like, hey, when is, Hayden Tenno going to make a return? And I'm sitting here going, I have been waiting for this point to come up for a minute. And, I'm a little remiss on getting various different things like this and, maybe even submitting a few ideas to DE, but I kid you not, this particular one, I had to definitely make a commentary video dedicated to it because it is something special in my opinion. And to have, let me see here, to definitely have Hayden Tenno come back into the game, or rather not come back to the game, but to be introduced to Warframe would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. Let me just double check, make sure that the vocals, okay, yeah, vocals are good on here. So yes, I have some notes here because we're going to definitely cover, like I said, the dev short a little bit more and what, Steve said, and also too, why it's plausible for Hayden Tenno to make an appearance in Warframe, not just appearance, but, to my opinion, a mainstay within the universe. And, in what way he could be added in Warframe. So, we'll definitely talk about this. I'm looking forward to hopefully a few folks stopping by while, I'm broadcasting, and it would be great to get, a few people's takes on what they're thinking about it all as well. So, we shall see. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me do this. I want to park him in the
time for a break.
The arsenal. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. So, like I said, the fact that they actually live mentioned it is awesome. Okay, so, and it was kind of interesting because Rebecca's sitting there too, and she's like, she got to give Steve this look like, what I'm saying, don't give too much away. Don't spoil it. Because I had the feeling this was going to be the case ever since they reintroduced the whole Protoframe thing. And, I'm sure a few folks who, of our fellow Tenno that were viewing some of my broadcasts, have heard me mention the point of Hayden Tenno and having him be introduced to Warframe. It's just so many reasons why that definitely needs to be a thing, 100%. But yeah, let me see here. Yeah, so to the point there with the dev short. So when Steve read off the viewer's name, and I apologize for not having that offhand, because Steve even kind of fumbled with trying to get the name correct. Nevertheless, though, they were like, Hayden Tenno, is he gonna make a comeback? And Steve just, let out this really great chuckle, really great laugh, and so did Rebecca after she kind of like cut herself off from trying to warn him. And he was like, yeah, definitely. People have ideas, about him coming back. He'd love to hear them. And just his mannerisms and his candor were beautiful. So it gave me goosies, and I was like, oh, I have got to put something out on this. Oh yes. Hang on, let me do a little something to the audio, because I don't know, for me it sounds a little loud, a little high. Yeah, that should be good, I think. Yeah. And let's make sure we can turn down Ortis, because he gets to be jibber jabbering a lot. I do appreciate some of the things he says, and it can be kind of funny and a good reminder too of what's going on. I think that'll be good for right now. And but yeah, so Steve's candor, like I said, the way he brought it up, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a thing. It's got to be a thing coming. And so now the question, tends to be with people like Hayden Tenno, DarkSector, we've got some downers, I'm sure, like, how is that going to be what's up? But I mean, to me, it's like, how could it not be? Simply because I'd say primarily, before anybody even finds out about my second point, you do get the reference of our Tenno here, well, a drifter, but the point of him still, I'd say, being part of the fold of the Tenno is a thing, because he's able to use the ways of the Tenno. And initially we come to understand our operator as a Tenno. And if you didn't know about the operator, when and you haven't gotten to that point in the game, you do understand that the Warframes are regarded as Tenno as well during the Orokin Empire, and all that has a lot to do with these ways, and the schools of the Tenno and their way of thought, their way of life, the whole nine. I mean, it was a social cultural phenomena unto itself to be a Tenno or be regarded as a Tenno. And of course the operators were regarded as Tenno as well. And like I said, in my opinion, the drifter is too, because he makes use of the ways as well. And when he comes to find out everything that is in the way of itself, to Teshin and of course the operator, and becoming a part of the universe outside of the Viri, like I said, I feel as though he is a Tenno as well. And of course, we, the community who play Warframe, are regarded as Tenno. That's the reason why I like to say, fellow Tenno, welcome fellow Tenno, and things like that in the comments, because I mean, really, it's kind of a real cool thing to have that moniker. And so yeah, Tenno is a very profound notion within the game, as it is the surname to Hayden Tenno. I mean, so it's like, to bring that full circle just in that one point alone is worth it. And then of course, once you get past those particulars, you do understand that there is, let's see, where I think I changed it. Yeah, I think this is the one I had it. You had the Proto-Armor skin.
Shall we begin?
And the Excalibur Proto-Armor skin. I mean, I remember when this first came out. I mean, like I said, I really dug DarkSector myself. I played it, beat the game, mad cool. And this is how I generally wear the Proto-Armor skin with the Kaduto helmet. But for the purpose of this this special here, we will
my day just got a whole lot better.
Do a full equip on the Proto-Armor skin in its full glory and its original colors, for the sake of, like I said, this Hayden Tenno special that I have going on here. So let's see, we'll do it like that, and let's see, we'll just take off the appearance of the Skiajati that I've got equipped with that cool skin. So yes, so with the addition of the Proto-Armor, this is Hayden Tenno's armor in DarkSector. And of course, it was phenomenal when Warframe decided to add it to the game. Of course, I was hot on it, but what's wild is back in the day, you could only get this once a year. Now everybody can get it, no problems whatsoever, which is fantastic. I mean, for, people just coming into the game, but I mean, gotta bear in mind, like, it was, it took some work, saying to get this sort of thing back in the day, and you had to wait. But let's see, where is, yes, here we go. it actually says it right there. I thought I had to go to the actual piece itself, but it says right here, discovering the precise nature of the recently undiscovered armor prototype has proved elusive. Initial attempts at dating point to ancient origins, perhaps even predating Orokin Empire. Let me read that again. Discovering the precise nature of this recently undiscovered armor prototype has proved elusive. Initial attempts at dating point to ancient origins, perhaps even predating Orokin Empire. Let me tell you, this is exactly what's going on in 1999. Exactly what's going on in 1999, 100%. So, let me see here. I think it's going to switch it back to my first author. Yeah, there it is.
They don't stand a chance against us.
So yeah, this is my other potential author, which is my role play with Warframes Eternalism theory. And so, you know, with Warframes Eternalism theory and the potential possibilities within, everything's possible. There's no, in my opinion, as far as what DE can bring to the game. But with the fact that we now have 1999, and let me just make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. But yeah, because we have 1999 and everything Albrecht has done, the Protoframes introduced, to me, there's no excuse why we can't have Hayden Tenno. Absolutely not. No excuse why we could not. Let me see. Let me double check. Yes, I'm right on track with my notes as far as the points I wanted to cover. So yes, so with Albrecht and the Protoframes, and also too the introduction of the latest four Protoframes. You know, I was a little concerned, you know, if they were going to bring out more after the initial hex, but we have, you know, 6 more additional Protoframes, and with that in mind, we have, let's pull that up. We have the potential for more. And as far as I understand things to be, there's no reason why we won't. And, let's see. Yeah. So, like I said, with these 4 additional Protoframes, there should be no excuse that we can't have Hayden Tenno. With, like I said, the first aspect that, you know, we all carry that surname of Tenno, with, you know, the Proto-Armor being in the skin in the game, with the addition of the Protoframes, and essentially that's what Hayden Tenno was. He was a Protoframe, 100%. We never got to witness any type of full mutation, and perhaps there may not have ever been one for him. And you know, so just because of the way that the Technocyte virus, you know, infected him, and you know what we understand too now with the backstory of Albrecht Entrati and when he did with the Technocyte virus in creating the gray strain of it, to, you know, harness the abilities without losing the humanity of the human. Hayden Tenno's got to come back. It's just that simple. So let's see, let me think. So now the key, or the big question would be, like, how and in what capacity Hayden Tenno could come back into the game. And in my opinion, we definitely want to have, you know, let's see, a playable side quest for that, in my opinion. You know, I don't think it'd be good necessarily to have it as a main quest. I mean, it could be, depending on how strong DE is on the point, and depending on, you know, public opinion, you know, the Tenno's opinion on, like, do they want to have that as a mainstay or a mandatory quest that they feel like they have to do one way or the other. I think to appease everybody, as well as keep it somewhat of a mystery until you get to the point where that would be great to introduce, make it a side quest. Main quest would be great too. I have no problems with it, but as far as like appeasing everyone and the manner in which they may or may not want to have that situation, I would say that to have a side quest would be what's up. Now, then the question begs, okay, what's up with the side quest? Now, in my opinion, if they do the side quest or main quest, it would be phenomenal if you could actually play as Hayden Tenno for a period of it, or throughout the entirety of it. But to have that new game, that Warframe gameplay experience of Hayden Tenno, it would be a wonderful refresher in contrast to DarkSector. It's like fully making it, Warframe's own, making Hayden Tenno's Warframe's own, essentially, is where I'm coming from with that. And
I didn't tidy up. Sorry.
Oh, Eleanor, lady love.
Housekeeping instincts of a feral cat.
Well, I'm glad she doesn't smell like a feral cat. Anyway, so yeah, she keeps it fresh from what my drifter says. But yeah, so to have Hayden Tenno as a playable character, of course, tie him directly to 1999 would be absolutely phenomenal. Now, as far as whether or not Hayden Tenno is going to be playable after the quest, that could be up for debate. I'd be cool if they didn't, but I would be overwhelmed and thrilled if we could play as Hayden Tenno in some capacity, or he's introduced to us similar to how Umbra is exceptionally distinct in and of himself. We don't really build him. You know what I'm saying? We find him, and similar to that, we could find Hayden Tenno, and he's a one of a kind.
I'd like to have the kind of fun with you that nobody has even imagined before.
How's that?
Except maybe a medieval peasant on a bad mushroom trip.
Yeah, Eleanor, I love it. So, to have Hayden Tenno be playable in the game, it would be, absolutely stellar. And to have him as a Protoframe that we actually have in our arsenal, and let him potentially be the only Protoframe that we have in the game, similar to Umbra, for example, would be stellar. Absolutely phenomenally stellar, let me tell you. So Hayden Tenno in the capacity similar to Umbra as a playable Protoframe, and the only Protoframe we would ever have with us in our arsenal. Please, DE, make it happen. I can't see why that could not be the case, why that would not be feasible and balanced, because he would have his own abilities, of course, and to have him manifest the glaive from his body as he did in DarkSector. We already have elements like that where our characters manifest weapons from their body, so it's like, make it, have it, please DE. So that's my thought on that. Now, second best, or less thrilling per se, but definitely enjoyable, would be to have Hayden Tenno as an NPC in the game. Something like the way, Teshin is in the game, and the other, whereas, you interact with him, Hayden Tenno, in some capacity in 1999, similar to the way, we interact with Teshin. And, it would be great if we had, a capturer involved with that too, take some nice pictures of him, similar to the way we can with Teshin's Cave. And, I think that would be cool. Now, the thing is, even cooler, and very more thrilling would be, of course, to not just have Hayden Tenno, I'm going the wrong way, in the game as a playable character, playable in the quest, a playable Protoframe that we have within our arsenal, and then also to interact with him within the game as an NPC would be great, because then you could kind of involve yourself further within the role play of Warframe. Hey Rose, good to see you in chat. Thank you for stopping through. I don't know if you saw the post on the channel, because yeah, I'm glad you came through. Oh, this is a nice Hayden Tenno special. I mean, you heard me mention it before, I think, with some of the other broadcasts, but Steve talked about it today in the DevShorts, and he said he would love to hear ideas about it. And just his reaction, his candor, the fact that Rebecca looked at him real sharp, like, don't spoil it. I was like, it's happening. It's happening. So, you know, for Steve to want to get feedback on just how to make it happen, or how he would like to see it, you know, everybody would would like to see it happen, is very positive. Very, 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 very positive. So, I was just talking about the point of, like, in what capacity could we have Hayden Tenno, and I'm like, yeah, have a side quest, have him playable in the side quest, have him also too as an NPC we interact with, something like, you know, like here with Teshin, and then as I was getting to the point of we could have we could further kind of involve ourselves in the role play of these potential possibilities of Hayden Tenno within the Warframe universe, as we all have our own Hayden Tenno in our arsenal, and let that be the only Protoframe, actual Protoframe introduced to the game. You know, similar to the way Umber was introduced, in the manner that he's very distinct. You don't actually create him, you find him, or you don't build him. You know, you find him. So, and the fact that we have the Omniforma now, and the way that we can trick out our builds, we can have, you know, true build diversity, and it's no problem to only have one of a particular whatever in the game, in the way that you can't build more than one of it, the way you can with the other Warframes. So yeah, that's basically what's up. That's where I'm at with my thrilled commentary on it. But yeah, I don't know, Rose, do you have any points or any thoughts towards Hayden Tenno and DarkSector? Well, from DarkSector coming into the Warframe universe, and I don't know, did you see the dev short and hear him mention it, or remember me talking about it? It's all good if not, but yeah, I mean, I'm I'm digging it the most, as it's been said. Oh my gosh, it would be so cool. Let's see, what do you think? But yeah, I think, because even within the Sanctum here, Lloyd.
Knowledge is minimal, but if it would be cool to see.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I agree, without a doubt. Yeah. Well, Hayden Tenno, like I said, was the main star of the predecessor to Warframe in the game DarkSector. He was infected. He was a spy, got infected, or an agent rather, got infected with the Technocyte virus while on a mission, turned into a Protoframe as we see them here. He was actually far more human looking than
shall we begin?
Than the Protoframes we see, which is great, because if they would introduce him as a playable Warframe, or a playable Protoframe, and the only one in the game, that would make him even more unique, more distinguished, and also too perhaps more how shall I say, more distinguished, more intriguing as to why he did not mutate further. And then, to me, I'd almost want to kind of edit what I said earlier about having him locked in 1999, because the aspects of the future in regard to the Warframes, the operator, the concept of them being regarded as a Tenno, that's Hayden Tenno's surname. So it's like, well, how did that come to be, right? He bridges the gap through time for all of us in the game, and that he would potentially be the one to harness the ways of the Tenno, or at least the initial foundation of the ways of the Tenno. So like, let's see, can I access that here? I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, and you know, he could even be part of the Sanctum Atomica, or you know, it could be any numerous of ways in which he could potentially be still current within the Warframe universe, because you know, this place is huge. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and you know, they released Dante after the fact of it. I mean, so why not have Hayden Tenno just be, you know, chilling up in a room somewhere? Like, yeah, I was waiting for you to come through. Yeah, welcome, Tenno. I'm glad you still carrying my name. You know, something like that. That would be the shit. And but you know, the aspects of the ways of the Tenno, he could actually have been their founder in some manner. You know, cloaked in a disguise per se to the Orokin, just this sort of sage to the Tenno that they really didn't know the truth of. In the way that he fostered and founded the ways of the Tenno, in these ways in the schools. So like, I would almost want to say like his abilities, because you know, with the Warframes as well as him as a Protoframe, they could introduce more than 4 abilities for him. But I mean, they could keep it at 4, but have some, you know, like one of his abilities, of course, to manifest the glaive, because in DarkSector he could actually, the glaive came out of his body, if I remember correctly, and that would be one of his abilities, of course. And then the other 3 could be some combination here of the different schools, the different ways of the Tenno. Whereas, you know, ability 1 would have maybe some marry of Naramon and Zeneric. Ability 2 could be some marry of Vazrin and Yunaru. And, you know, ability 3 could be focused on Matarai. And his 4th ability be summoning the glaive. Some combination therein. That would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. I mean, because like I said, it would bridge the gap through time from 1999 to that of the Tenno, to that of where we are within the universe of things in Warframe. It'd be stellar. Because like I said, to me, this whole thing with the Technocyte virus and the way that the Orokin Empire and Ballas has, you know, utilized it, I think that it's kind of the old scenario or time travel trippiness of, you know, you're your own grandfather thing. You know, you go back in time, you get with one of your ancestors and then produce yourself as a descendant because you were one of your ancestors' parents. You get my point. You were. So to me, I think that Albrecht essentially helped create what was to be known as the Technocyte virus, right? In this weird, trippy time loop scenario. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, and that, you know, we can leave the community up to decide for themselves as to which came first, the chicken or the egg. But I think that, you know, if DE put it in the game like that, I'd have no qualms, no boo-hoos about it. But yeah, Hayden Tenno, like I said, was the main protagonist in DarkSector, and was very much like the...
It could be a possibility. There will be more Protoframes.
Yes, exactly. Oh yeah, they're gonna be more Protoframes for sure. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, this was the armor that we got in the game, and like I said, Hayden Tenno, all this other stuff that's covered like this was, you know, it's human flesh. So they could do a version of this because his body was mutated exactly like this in the game, and it's just that you have Hayden Tenno's head on it. Now, to me, it'd be nice if they gave Hayden Tenno a different outfit on the parts that weren't flesh, or even have more flesh exposed, which would be beautiful. Because, you know, we find this, or rather the Orokin Empire discovered this armor, as it's explained here with this write-up here, discovering the precise nature of this recently undiscovered armored prototype has proved elusive. Initial attempts at dating point to ancient origins, perhaps even predating the Orokin Empire. Perfect. You know, but the fact that they discover it would mean that Hayden Tenno doesn't still wear it. So to have him introduced as a side quest in relationship to 1999, in my opinion, the you know, tied also to the Sanctum Motonica and Albrecht Entrati to our present future as well, would be great. You know, he could have an NPC version in 1999 and one in the future somewhere, because he's sort of, you know, can go between time, like with this little backpack, for example, you know, something like that, you know, similar to like a portable version of the computer that we have on our orbiter. You know what I'm saying? So that would be great. I wanted to actually go to the Drifter camp. Let's see. Yeah, because I'm still trying to see if Wally's going to spawn in one of those office chairs I bought. But yeah, so similar to how we have this PC terminal in our orbiter, this backpack could serve as that for Hayden Tenno, where he's going from 1999 to the future. You know, no problem. Or rather, from the future back to 1999, depending on how you might want to role play or understand the point. Because like I said, in my opinion, Hayden Tenno gets to the future in some kind of way at some point, or if not, at the very least, there's these scripts, these notes that he's left for the Tenno, and that's how they learn the ways of the Tenno. So that's another thing that they could do. They could leave Hayden Tenno in the past if they wanted, but you know, we discover these notes as to how the Tenno came to be in the way of themselves, why they decided to regard themselves as Tenno, and thus having these schools of thought, these ways that they subscribe to. I still think that with that in mind, they can still have, you know, Hayden Tenno as a playable Protoframe with 3 different combinations of these schools for his abilities to basically highlight and represent his foundation to the Tenno and their ways. So I mean, so they don't want to miss, in my, you know, that my point, that intricate part in bridging the gap from him to our operator and the Warframes and the operator and all that. So yeah, that would be phenomenal. And like I said, so you know, just based off of my brainstorming, they have a couple of ways that they can do it, but definitely number one, DE, bringing Hayden Tenno into the game. Don't miss the point of, all right, the fact that this Proto-Armor, he wouldn't be wearing it because the Orokin Empire found it. We got to definitely, you know, make note and bridge the gap from his surname of Tenno to us, the community, the Warframe, and the operator, you know, slash drifter, in the way of either notes surviving that they, you know, read, deciphered, what have you, and incorporated his understanding of the ways, you know, or have him survive to some future date, and you know, Albrecht retrieved him. We could check him. We could go hang out with him at the Sanctum Motonica or at 1999 via some kind of backpack like this or something where he's traveling back and forth. And also too, make a side quest as far as his introduction, or a main quest, depending on, you know, how everybody feels about it, but definitely, you know, at the very least a side quest, and have us play him in that side quest. Be beautiful. And then as a reward for that side quest, he is a Protoframe that we get to have in our arsenal. Okay? And with that, with him being the only Protoframe that we get to play, similar to how Umbra was introduced to us and we didn't build him, you know, he would have 4 abilities, or 5 abilities, excuse me, 4 abilities and a passive, I'm sure. And one of his abilities definitely would be the glaive, and then the other 3, in my opinion, would be combinations of the ways in some way, shape, or form. All 5 of them, you know, would be sort of married in some way for one ability, say Xenarix, like I said earlier, to Naramon, and then this other one Vazrin to Yunaru, and then say the third just Matarai, or some, like I said, some recombination in that, incorporating these schools of thought or these ways. And I mean, DE, I mean, I mean, Steve, you know, I know you know. I mean, I could tell by your reaction in that dev short. So if you see in this, know that I know that you know that I know that you know that this needs to be a thing. So yes, please, please, please. But yeah, I kid you. So yeah, I'm not sure, you know, what else I could say about it all. But yes, if you got any questions, Rose, or if there's some other viewers in there that have any thoughts, please share them. And you know, yeah, I'll just leave it off at that. And definitely, for future viewers, please, you know, comment, you know, your thoughts and opinions. And I'm really looking forward to this being a thing, sooner than later, because I mean, you know, I'm thrilled off the point. I mean, but I can be patient. I mean, I've been patient now for almost, what, 12 years. I mean, because I heard about it. Well, yeah, I started playing Warframe back in, it was early 2015. So yeah, it's been 10 years, but I heard about everything before I played Warframe. And I'm not sure if I played DarkSector before I played Warframe, but either way, it's going on over a decade for me, wanting to see Hayden Tenno to the game. So sooner than later would be beautiful. And yeah. So yeah, I'll leave it off at that. I mean, I don't want to drag it out too far, but and hopefully, I mean, it wasn't too far as is, covering the points, because it made me think of a few other notions to bring up. And thank you definitely, Rose, for coming through and you know, and adding your vote for the point as well, because yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And I need to look into where it exactly I need to submit ideas for. But I believe that Warframe Reddit, and I'll post things in the comments of this video too. Number one, the dev short, for people to see what's up. And I know there's a Reddit page for submitting ideas, and a lot of people tend to use the fan art page on the Warframe forums as well. So I'm gonna hit that up. But I actually didn't look to see on YouTube if there were other videos about all of this subject matter, because I wanted, you know, this presentation and this commentary to be pure and you know, of my own mind and my own thoughts and opinions, without having influence from other sources. So, you know, and if I've covered the points of others, you know, kudos, and you know, it was no stealing the idea here. These have all been my thoughts for some time now, you know, coupled with the introduction of 1999. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, after this I will look up to see if there's anybody else that's commented on all this or made a video dedicated to it, and see what the forums have to say. And I will be submitting to DE what my thoughts on the matter. So if others want to reinforce it or add their own, please do, because let's make this happen. So yes, let's see. Let me just check the broadcast real quick. But yes. So yeah, I'll go ahead and leave it off here at that. And you know, if there's anybody who wants to say anything, please jump in while I go ahead to my little profile here and do the little spin around. I like to kind of leave it off with that. And yeah, Hayden Tenno, looking forward to seeing you, hopefully soon. Oh yes. But yes, thank you all for viewing. Take care and enjoy.
Thank you for viewing.